just two little girls from Little Rock.
Jane's problems with censorship, unfortunately, didn't end with the French line. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes matched Jane with Marilyn Monroe, who sang Little Girl from Little Rock, the song whose lyrics were censored by Joe Breen himself.
Then someone broke my heart in Little Rock. So I up and left the pieces there. Like a little lost lamb I roamed about. I came to New York and I found out that men are the same way everywhere.
Well, I liked Marilyn very much. She was very shy, and she was having trouble with the front office for some reason.
Trouble was nothing new to Marilyn, whose background was already full of censorship problems, dating back to her calendar photos. Her reputation caused censors to stay on the set and monitor her actions, even down to a kiss.
How about me? Did you like me too?
Well, when I first saw you, I thought you were some kind of a hooligan, yelling and stomping like that. But when I realized you was doing it for me, I was attracted to you.
Attracted? You was?
I still am.
You still are? Really attracted?
Can you imagine how far we've traveled in whatever direction since then? Is that in the love scene, we had to reshoot the love scene because Marilyn opened her mouth during the kiss. And that was the censorship problem.
I mean, you're so big and strong and, well, so darn healthy looking.
Guess I am in pretty good shape for the rodeo. Because you gotta be when you're competing in all 5 Class A events. Sherry.
We went to reshoot it on another day, and Joshua Logan was directing the scene. He said, now, Marilyn, don't open your mouth, you know. And I'd come to kiss her, and she'd open her mouth. And I said, okay, cut, take 2. Marilyn, don't open your mouth. And she kept opening her mouth. So after about the 7th or 8th time, when I went to kiss her and she opened her mouth, I looked in her mouth like this, and I turned to the camera and I said, you will tell Mother where I've gone.
Marilyn eventually got fed up with Hollywood and left for New York. Her replacement was Sherry North.
Marilyn Monroe was put on suspension, and Fox was courting me very heavily because they wanted another blonde to threaten Marilyn. She didn't want to do what they wanted, which was called How to Be Very, Very Popular, which was the first film I did at Fox when I went under contract. It's so innocent by today's standards. I can't believe it. But it was a lot of, you know, shaking and gyrating and jumping around and all that kind of crazy stuff. And I think really at the time, everything on film was very innocent. But if there was any kind of hype about it, and since I had come from Broadway and I was the hottest 90 minutes on Broadway, or 90 seconds on Broadway, I already came with a questionable aura. And so when I did the dance number, all of the kids that I had worked with in the chorus were in the show. And they said, you're getting quite a reputation, and people at our church asked us not to work with you, and things like that. When you were coming up in this business and doing bathing beauty contests and all that kind of stuff, and doing little cheesecake photos and things like that, there was a man in town who did films, and girls would walk around pools in their bathing suits, you know, and he would photograph it, and then he would sell these through the mail as home movies. And they were very innocent. And Marilyn did them, and everybody who did cheesecake did them when you were broke. He paid $50 a film. So when I went to do my first film, I thought, well, I'm not just going to walk around the pool, I have to dance. So they were tried in court, and there was a lot of publicity about they were to censor them, and they were lewd and lascivious and all that kind of stuff. So there was a court date, and they showed the films in court, and the judge said, well, they're really just kind of boring. But it was a big censorship thing, and it was the same thing, you know, with Marilyn and the calendar. And that night was that I had been vindicated. It hit the front page of the paper, and Marilyn was getting her photoplay award. And we met out in front, and she said, oh, first me with the calendar, and now you with the lewd films. And it seemed like we were these racy, lewd, lascivious people.
Sherry faced yet another type of censorship battle. While her most personal measurements were front-page news, censors continuously made sure that none of it showed.
We always used to laugh at Fox Studio because all of the costumes were made, they were all boned and padded out because of that bullet bra, or whatever you call it. You could extend yourself, you know, across the room, as long as you didn't show any cleavage this way. And so the standard thing in the wardrobe department was all the busts were made the same. And we always used to laugh because we'd all say, look, we all measure exactly the same. And when we lie down, nothing moves.